Hello, it is Chrissy, and it is Tuesday, and that's Tanner. And we are here from Common Sense Education to tell you about a tech tool that we think might be useful for you. So please sit back, relax. Tanner, what do you have for us today?
I've got a review so hot off the presses it's steaming, and it's a tool, well, kind of a curriculum called History's Mysteries. Now, this isn't the ideal web address to be sharing. Write that one down or just do a Google search to find this thing. It's a unique example of a tool. It's unlike anything we've covered in that, as we say in our one-liner here, it's a super scrappy project. From what I gather, this was a group of educators who got funded to do a primary source-based curriculum for elementary history, and they got funded by the Library of Congress. And we've done at least one other, maybe a couple other that are as part of this primary research funding that's resulted in a lot of great resources that build inquiry skills, critical thinking, historical research, that kind of thing. And I've been wanting to showcase more of them. Now, this is a tool that didn't rate great for us, but I do think it can be valuable. The other tricky thing is, as is becoming a running theme, this thing's, I don't think it's got a privacy policy. So yeah, but here it is. This is kind of why it didn't score great. It doesn't have the polish that we would like. And it's, because it's sort of a DIY operation, this is a Google site that was generated. It doesn't maybe have some accessibility affordances we would like, but the content is really, really great. And to give you a kind of overview, over here in this nav item here are introductory lessons on historical inquiry. We'd recommend doing one of these before you then dig into the grade level lessons, because these kind of set up the basic skills that are needed for historical inquiry. And each one is structured in a set of Google Slides with embedded videos that are narrated by, from what I gather, actual teachers. And they're, short little videos that you experience through the slides that get students looking at primary sources, asking valuable questions, and drawing conclusions from them. And you can see, you kind of just click through, watch the video, and then do these activities that are here in these handouts, either PDF or Google Docs, that have these nice little reflection activities. And that's kind of the structure, is narrated slideshows, handout, for not just the inquiry lessons, but all of these lessons. One important thing is that they offer 3 versions of the slideshows, which I thought was pretty cool. There's a narrated version. That's kind of this one here, where you click through and you click play, and then you watch the video and you hear the narration. There's also a static slideshow if you as a teacher want to do a whole class activity where you run through the slideshow and offer your own prompts. And then there's a virtual one that is kind of made for remote instruction with the activities kind of built in. So it's great that there are these 3 options, like very adaptable. You can tell teachers made this and they're like, every teacher is going to want to approach this in a particular way. So I think that's great. The other thing that really stuck out is just the topics. Elementary is sometimes tricky when it comes to social studies and history. Sometimes we maybe scratch the surface, or kind of focus social studies around holidays and that kind of thing. This is elementary history taught in a very in-depth way that takes on fascinating topics and embeds documents and sources that you just don't often see get surfaced in an elementary classroom. I just think it's and they make it through the videos. They make it so accessible and welcoming and easily understood by an elementary age student. Like pedagogically, I just think it's absolutely stunning. And our reviewer pointed out that there's also an intent focus on inclusive pedagogy. They use the right words and phrasings. It has a very modern take on these things that really is respecting people's different experiences and different cultures, and getting students exposure outside of maybe their bubbles. The big challenge is that, first of all, these are YouTube videos, maybe firewalled. You may have issues with that. They don't have the built-in captions that are accurately transcribed. You kind of have to rely on YouTube's built-in functionality. We didn't really see a ton of differentiation resources. It's kind of, that's sort of left up to the educator. And the lack of a privacy policy is also another challenge. But there's content here that you can dig into, I think, and that a lot of teachers could reappropriate in different ways and find something really fascinating that'll get students building these inquiry skills, which are so critical, not just for history, but all subjects.
Yeah, I was wondering if do you see this as potentially a part of a bigger sort of news and media literacy approach? Like, it would be a good inquiry-based starting point, maybe?
Yes, these would dovetail perfectly with, like, we'll get a little plug in here, some of our digital citizenship lessons on news and media literacy, because the skills are directly transferable, I would say. And I would also argue that they're maybe even more effective than some news literacy curriculum, in my opinion, because you're using your inquiry skills on actual artifacts in
Mhm.
context. And I think those habits of mind you're developing, especially when you're looking at artifacts outside of maybe your own personal experience, also develop in concert with the inquiry skills. I think students will be developing kind of cultural literacy that I think is especially valuable right now for news literacy. And SEL skills like empathy. Um, so, yeah, I think it's perfectly transferable in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, you had me at Scrappy, so all the rest is
That's a good word.
gravy. All right, thanks, Tanner. Make sure you come and visit us at Common Sense Education, and also come back to YouTube every Tuesday. We have another video for you. So it's just basically a treasure trove of things for you to explore. Take a look, tell your friends, subscribe, etc. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much.